Alhamdulillah, a pleasure and great honor to have you with us tonight. Prof. Dr. Samsudin Arif, we just recently conferred professor from UNIDA, Professor in Medieval Islamic Philosophy. It was a long time not to listen from you actually. I think the last time I never remember the last time you give lecture here after you go back to Indonesia in 2015. If I'm not mistaken, in this room maybe it's only me and maybe Dr. Shafiq who have the opportunity to study under you when you were in CASIS.
Yes.
I started here in 2014, so I have more or less 1 year. Even that short time, a lot of memory, like Dr. Shafiq mentioned just now, a lot of quotation from your words still in my mind. So it's a pleasure to have you back here. And after knowing that you are coming here for of course the main reason is you are one of the examiner for Arif yesterday. So I told students that we should have session with Dr. Shah because maybe most of them, or if not all, they don't have the opportunity to listen from you. And of course, after that 2015, even I'm not following your class. Some of us will be following your course online. You conduct in Indonesia, reading text and so on. So I was informed that maybe you have some limited time today. Maybe we should start at 11 or before that.
Yeah, before that, so that we can have.
Okay. So I think you have more or less 55 minutes or maybe 1 hour. Actually, this idea comes from Dr. Khalif. He suggests that if you can share with us your journey to becoming a scholar in classical Islamic philosophy. Dr. Sham is very prolific. He has a lot of writings. He shares all of them, if not all, in social media. Not just that, he's also very, maybe this is quite recently that he's also very prolific in the YouTube channel. We can follow some of them online. Yeah, even if it's fun, it's a serious fun. So I think without further ado, I will leave the room for the Shah to give your lecture.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi khaliqil ardi was samawat. Al-qail fi kitabihi innal hasanat yudhibna as-sayyi'at. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa hu khaliqul habbi wan nawad. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu al-mab'utsu bil ayatil bayyinat habibina wa syafi'ina maulana Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ulil fadaili wal karamat wa kulli man ihtada bihadihi wastanna bisunnatihi madamatil ardu was samawat. Subhanaka Allahumma la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Allahumma iftah lana hikmatak wanshur 'alaina min khazain rahmatik. Allahumma arzuqna fahman nabiyyin wa hifdzal mursalin wa ilhamal malaikatil muqarrabin birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. First of all, I would like to thank Brother Musa, Dr. Shafiq Burhanuddin, and especially Dr. Hilmi Ramli, the director of Raja Zari Sofia CASIS, and my colleague, Associate Professor Dr. we have a sharing session with you, with current students here at this center. I'm very delighted to have this opportunity. Although I may not have much to say because I'm not a good public speaker. And there's a program in Indonesian TV, stand-up comedy, people who can make spontaneous jokes. They get money for that. I'm not trained to do that. Usually, this is what my kids now they're grown-up kids, university students now. This is what they used to tell me. Yeah, you cannot be a public speaker. You are a teacher. So they say, even when you are giving ceramah at the mosque, you sound like teaching students. Human beings cannot or do not change after they reach 40 years of age. I'm not sure if it's true or not. Ala kulli hal, once again, I'm very glad that we can meet here, and I hope we can have fruitful conversation over scholarship, not just what scholarship, but how to become a scholar, about what scholars are doing or expected to do, what are required one should do if one aspires to become a true scholar. If you add the adjective true, then you may ask, are there false scholars? Just like there is fake money, false money, maybe there is also false scholar. People who appear to be a scholar or who look like a scholar, but who may not really have the quality scholarship as maybe you know. We may start by looking at the concrete examples, both from our Islamic intellectual tradition as well as the Western or European tradition of scholarship. There have been many studies. So you have, when you try to understand something or to get an idea of something, you can you have to use two approaches: the normative approach and the factual or historical approach. The normative approach is the ideal. It is how things are conceptualized, how things are talked about, how things are idealized. That is how things are discussed as an idea, as a concept. So that's one approach. Another approach is what we sometimes is called a historical approach. Although the term historical to me may suggest may have another connotation. Otherwise, you can call it factual approach. It is you look at things as it is exemplified, as it is actualized, as it is practiced, as it is done in reality. For example, let's talk about Sharia. So you can talk about Sharia as a concept, as an ideal, as a set Islamic laws, Islamic regulations, do's and don'ts. That is called the normative approach. But then there is another approach. It is called the historical or factual approach. When you look at the Sharia as it is practiced, as it is actualized, as it is implemented by real people in real life, whether now or in the past. For example, how Sharia was put into practice for 700 years by people living under the Ottomans. So you need to dig into archives, because you need to know, for example, how many people were proven guilty by the court, by the Ottoman courts, whether in the provincial courts or in the capital city. How many people were found guilty of crimes, for example, of theft, and how many people got their hands cut. You have the data? It is talking about Sharia, not from a normative perspective, but from historical or factual perspective. Or we can go back even further. For example, during the caliphate of Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, I think it was 10 years. Sayyidina Umar, 10 years, I think Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab ruled the Muslim empire. Also, this might not be a good term. During his caliphate, how many prisons were built, and who were the people going into jail during his caliphate? You have the data. So, for example, one particular example of Sharia is CASIS, for example. Okay, now in Saudi Arabia, this is what I heard. A friend of mine who studied in Cairo in late 1990s told me that he and his friends went for Umrah. Then after on Friday, one day on Friday, they were taken to a mosque. It's called the CASIS Mosque, where people can watch live. Criminals who are found guilty of murder, of homicides, being punished to death, executed. They were not guillotined, but they were beheaded. My friend told me the one who held the sword. The sword was quite long, it was 1 meter, very thin, very sharp. Apparently so, because they were watching from afar. There were, I think, five people, and they were all covered, blindfolded and tied. And watching the head fell off to the ground made me sick for a couple of days. He couldn't eat. There are some mual. And I will never watch. I will never see that again. No, I don't. No, That's the factual approach to Sharia. You collect the actual cases, data, figures, and that's what the usually the approach preferred by Western scholars, by the Orientalists. Now there is another approach, although this has not become so popular. It's called quantitative approach. Even in Hadith scholarship, in Hadith studies and Quran studies, so they use tabulation because now you have the entire text of the Quran in one file, which is accessible. You can do searching. You can search one particular word, even maybe one particular letter. For example, how many wow, the letter wow is in the entire mushaf of the Quran. You don't have to count manually. You use how many thousands alif are there. So this to progress. I think that should give us the idea of direction for you who are doing Islamic studies. Which approach you want to the normative or the historical or factual approach, I would say. Maybe for those studying actual cases in contemporary times, like for example, hudud law in Saudi Arabia, then it's certainly better to call it a factual approach rather than historical approach. But when you try to study the archives from the past, then it is a historical approach. Now, for that purpose, then you need tools. It is like just like mining, gold mining. You need tools. Well, you may try to do it manually or by imagination, but that would be very painstaking. So you need tools, and the tools, the primary tools are first is language. This is why in major universities like Oxford, Oriental Institute, where students do research on Islamicate things. They even try to popularize an alternative term to Islamic, say Islamicate, following Marshall Hodgson's language. So you see, Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, students would spend not only 1 year, even 3 years learning languages, not one language. The Arabic is certainly compulsory, which is why at CASIS, when we all started, the first thing they have to really study every day, not once a week, but every day is Arabic language. But is Arabic enough? No. You need at least another Islamic Muslim language, Persian or Turkish. Persian usually. At Yale University, and this is what I know since 30 years ago. postgraduate program, especially at the Near Eastern languages, Near Eastern studies, Near Eastern languages at Yale and Warburg Institute at London. You have to pass German and French language tests in addition to Latin. So you need to acquire these tools, language. This will, but now maybe the question, we have AI. We still need to learn those difficult foreign languages. Yes, because if this is what I tested with the students. I said, okay, you do your exercises, Latin, translation from English to Latin, and back Latin to English, use AI. Then when you ask them why you use this word, why why not O, why U, they cannot explain. So you still need to study, not only study, you master the grammar, and all the intricacies. So there is still a difference, between a commoner and a scholar. A commoner, like someone I remember, when my wife, we went to Cappadocia by bus from Istanbul. We took a bus in the afternoon to the near city from Cappadocia. I don't remember the name. And halfway, we were stopped by a policeman. Then I asked, what happened? So the lady, I don't know whether she cannot speak English, but she understands. But what she did was, she opened a handphone, she wrote something. She had me read her answer through AI. Oh, the police is looking for someone escaping, fleeing jail. Okay. but that's not a scholar. That's a common. I mean, to read archives, to understand text, especially technical texts, books in usul fiqh, in Kuala, in philosophy. You must have a command of the language. So, anyways, that is the first tool. The second tool is logic. Logic is extremely important for analysis. I'm not talking about logic as lessons to be remembered, and but logic as a tool to be used, just like you learn silat for fighting, for real combat. So you must learn logic to the to the level of practicing and applying it and using it in everyday life. So that's the second tool. Now the third tool is historical knowledge. Everything has history. That's why medical doctors cannot do anything without knowing the history of the patient. Some you come to doctors, I have a pain here. Then what will the doctor ask you? Say, what did you eat last night? where did you go yesterday? what what did you do? What have you been doing over the last 1 week? That's history. History is very important. That's history of your health, yeah, of your activity, and of course, people in the intelligence world, they really need history. I'm sure when Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim wanted to visit Moscow, Putin asked for Anwar Ibrahim profile, which would run perhaps hundreds of pages. Putin would go through this history of Anwar Ibrahim. History. So for every object, not only object like individuals, but also a concept. David Nogel is an American scholar. I think he's also a priest. He wrote a book with over 200 pages on worldview, history of a concept. History of a concept. Worldview. Worldview, of course, is a word, yeah? A compound word consisting of two words. But tracing the history. Why is it important to know history? Yeah? When you do it, then you will understand its importance. Although I myself, I said I remember when it was in 2003. I was doing German language course during before the fall semester, before the winter semester began, back in Mannheim in Germany. So all the students from many countries were placed there in one class in Mannheim, and one of them was an Australian PhD student. I don't remember her name. She said that during introduction we learned that she was going to study history. I remember I asked her like innocently. Yeah? I said, "What for?" What's the use of studying history? I thought you don't need a PhD just to study history. You can read by yourself, don't you? He said, no. Then she started explaining to me. History. So you need three tools for scholarships. That's why, especially in Europe, history is very much emphasized. I have a colleague from the University of Pajajaran who finished his PhD at the University of Paris on the history of medicine, but this is still considered a very broad field. There is a narrow field which is specialized in. It's part of the medical history. So I think this is what we need to strengthen in our center. The learning of and the acquisition of these scholarly tools, these research tools. Just like gold mining needs instruments like dinghies. So for digging knowledge, you need also for knowledge mining. You need all these tools. Otherwise, you visit libraries just like a Jokowi selfie. It's magnificent library. Although I did also, take photographs of the library to encourage people to visit libraries. I was very happy yesterday to see many students sitting in the library. I don't know, I asked, what about our library upstairs? Is there a library upstairs? Still upstairs? The library?
Yes, yeah.
Are there many students around?
Just to do a second.
Oh. Yeah. 1 hour already? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, that's maybe my suggestion from what I gathered from my experience. I studied was at Pondok Pesantren, where I learned Arabic and basic Islamic studies. Then I was in the UAE to do my undergraduate program, which I finished in 1996. I started in 1992. Among the Indonesian students, one batch, there were I think around maybe 10 students. There were a few who passed the Arabic placement test, so they could go straight taking courses in Arabic. And there was only 2 students among Indonesians who passed the English placement test. One is Rahima Abdul Rahim, the daughter of Imad Abdul Rahim. Of course, she passed the test because she speaks English fluently. She was with a family in the U.S., Iowa. And the second student who passed the English placement test was Shamsuddin Arif, who had never been to the States, to the UK. He just learned English in Indonesia, in Jakarta. But apparently he did so seriously, using a third person singular pronoun is more convenient. First person is I, second person is you, third person is he, she, and they. It's called al-iltifat in Arabic, balagha, in Arabic rhetoric is called al-iltifat. Allah uses that in the Holy Quran, switching from first person to third person, and vice versa, from third person, from he, then we, suddenly. Where were we? Oh yeah, so alhamdulillah, I finished. So I took the compulsory courses if it was available in Arabic, in Arabic. That's why I learned from the lecturers from Egypt, from Sudan. But even though I passed the English placement test, I dared only take one course in English in the first semester. I was not confident enough to take more than one courses. So, alhamdulillah, I think it's from IIU that I improved my language skills, especially English, but also Arabic, because we wrote our assignments in Arabic. And in my third or fourth year, I attended the course, not as an auditing student, but it is a full-time student, course by Professor Mustafa Mahmoud Abu Suai, graduated from Boston University, the Palestinian, now teaching at Quds University in Jerusalem. The course was titled Al-Fikrul Islami Al-Muasir, Contemporary Islamic Thought. It was fully in Arabic. We discussed in the class from Muhammad Iqbal, all the contemporary Muslim thinkers, the major ones. For the assignment, I wrote an article by hand, written by hand, because we didn't have Arabic typewriter. I wrote by hand, maybe 10 pages. Arabic, in Arabic, on Fazlur Rahman's reformist ideas. All the sources were in English, articles by Fazlur Rahman, but the assignment was in Arabic. Upon receiving that, 2 or 3 days later, I got back. The professor returned all the papers to the students. He wrote on the front page, the cover, Mumtaz min kulli nahiya. It's A plus. Mumtaz min kulli nahiya means excellent from all sides. And content-wise, he said, your handwriting is beautiful. There is one thing which I would like to. It is what I think I read. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs used to say. I saw it somewhere. It's a quote. He said, "You should do what you love, and you love what you do." You know why some people do not produce excellent works? Maybe because they are not loving what they are doing. So maybe when they write, "I hate this," when they do the assignment, they tell themselves, "I hate this." No, you should. I love this. You should do things with not only with dedication, because dedication sounds like enslavement. You should do it with love, with passion. That's what I also learned from the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. You heard of his name? Yeah. One with a big mustache. Want to drink, just to pull up his mustache. Nietzsche said, but I only read it in English at the time. It was back in studying Jaya. I read with blood. No, I write with blood. I think that's even a stronger expression than passion. You put your soul into your work, so that readers can feel it. I think that's even more important now, because we can use artificial intelligence to help us write things, produce things. But soulless. And reading a piece which is soulless is not interesting at all. And if you have a taste for paintings, for artworks like Arabic calligraphy, I personally, I can stand for half an hour just looking at Arabic calligraphy, beautiful one, like those written in Istanbul Mosque. So I would look at every single, even the curve. That's why people are willing to pay expensive ticket to see famous paintings, art exhibition. It's if you can enjoy. So you must, I think those artworks they are so attractive because they are done with passion, with love, with no time limit. On my flight from Dubai to Rome recently, I watched a documentary about Leonardo da Vinci. You know that he was left-handed. When you are most people are right-handed, like we are, right from left to right. In the past, during Leonardo da Vinci's time, they used ink. So for right-handed people, it's no problem because the ink you get dry up after seconds or minutes. Because you move your hand rightward. But if you are left-handed and you write from left to right, so your hand will touch the pad, and it will impact the writings. So you know what he did? He writes from right to left, but you read it. It's like a mirror writing. That's why people call him a genius. And he wrote not only 1-2 pages, thousands of pages. Did they get the grant from the government? No. Why did he do that? This is out of love. Love for what? Love for what he was doing. Yeah, I think we can learn from real cases, from two stories better and more than just ideal concept, ideal scholarship. Scholars should be. This is called normative. A scholar should be like this, should be like that. That's why in logic, those kind of statements is neither true nor false. It's called moral statements. Moral statements are expression of hope, of command. These are not factual statements. Yeah. So after my undergraduate studies, initially I wanted to study at US or Europe university. I applied to University of Ottawa, Department of Philosophy. I applied to Harvard Divinity School. And I applied also to universities in Austria, Germany, but they were all unsuccessful. And at that time there was no email, so we sent our application by post. Went to the post office and we paid. I paid the application fee through bank draft from somewhere near Bangkok Bank. Last there. Alhamdulillah, Dr. Zaidi suggested, why don't you apply to ISTEC? Of course, at the time, I didn't tell him, he didn't know that I applied elsewhere. He said, you should apply. I said, if you want, I can help, he told me. Then I said, okay. Then an arrangement was made that I should meet Prof. Who was at the time the deputy director of ISTEC. And he was the one who did the screening of future students or of candidates. To cut the story short, my application was considered and was invited for interview in May 1996. Actually, I finished my undergraduate studies in late 1995, but the graduation ceremony, the convocation was only done in January 1996. But my scholarship was extended, well, not extended, my scholarship was not discontinued, but was continued until July 1996. So in May, I went for interview. There were Adi Setia, who also attended the interview. Masud Idris, who is now in Sharjah. This was our batch. There were 7 professors. Among them was Professor Al-Basran. We, all applicants had to write a research proposal. Also, it was a tentative. You can change it later. At the time, I proposed to do research for my master's on the philosophy of Abu Bakr al-Razi, not Fakhrul al-Razi, the medical doctor, the free thinker, philosopher. Free thinker doesn't mean thinking for free, no. It's liberal, liberal-minded thinker, free thinker. The word free in English is very tricky. You have a free university in Berlin, it doesn't mean it's free, no. Free means that the university is neither Catholic nor Protestant. It is not affiliated to any church. It's free. Free means detached. University percuma, free university. There is a free university also in Amsterdam, also spelled according to the Dutch, Vrije University. Yeah, so the research proposal was on Abu Bakr al-Razi. Then I was accepted as a student, and we did the Arabic placement test at ISTEC, which I passed. Alhamdulillah. Then we took courses, of course. The compulsory course with Professor Alatas, the religion of Islam. There were, I think, around 20 students, 20 or more students. Professor Alatas' class was always full house. And I usually arrive not punctually, late, so I would sit in the back, not the back, in the further seat, opposite to what the Adistia, not doctor at the time, I was still a friend. The Adistia, Provadas was talking, giving his lecture. He was so sleepy, I don't know, maybe he was tired. He fell off the chair. Prof. Alatas didn't notice that. we all tried not to burst into laughter, but Prof. Alatas didn't hear anything. I think he switched off his hearing aid. That's one of the best memory as a student at this time. But you know, the Adisatya is like he's not a prophet, but he's like a prophet. Prophet used to say to us, Sayyidatina Aisha, he said, my eyes are shut, and yet my mind is awake. Al-ainani tanaman, tanamu ainani. It's in Sahih Muslim. The Prophet says, my eyes are closed, yet my mind is alert. Okay. Then usually in the beginning of not usually, always at the beginning of semester, we had to do a manual registration of courses, which subject you want to take this semester. There's a form, write your name, semester, then the subject. And before it can be passed to the registrar, Puan Raini, you have to get approval from Prof. Wan as a deputy director. And usually it's there where he would ask you, you would have a personal conversation. How are you? How is your family? So that's the opportunity for both Prof. Wan and the students to get to know each other deeper and more. And also there, usually students, I don't know, maybe not all, some may be embarrassed to share their personal problems, but I did not that. And Prof. Wan was always helpful. He was more than just a deputy director. He was like an elder brother, like a father to most of, if not all, the students. And yeah, that's how things were done at ISTEC. So, for example, in one of the semesters, I was forced. I said, no, you should take this course, contemporary issues in economics. That's a class by Professor Amirubai. It turns out because only one student so far registered for the course, so I was the second one who was thrown into this class. that happens also to the class of Professor Sami Hamarne, history of Islamic pharmacy and medicine. But now, looking back, now I'm very thankful for that, for being thrown into these classes which I had no interest in initially. Because of that, now I have confidence now. I've been invited to this a few years ago to talk, to give a public lecture in front of the staff, the teaching staff of the medical faculty in Riau. And this semester, I was invited to teach a course, postgraduate course in the Faculty of Pharmacy. The title is Islam dan Kesehatan. So if you know only Islam and you have nothing to say about kesehatan, you cannot teach this course. And if you know only kesehatan and you know nothing about Islam, you can also. So this interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary approach is also very good, very important to emphasize, because the problems of society, the problems of life cannot be solved by one perspective, or from one perspective by one group of experts. Now we have to involve many experts from many different fields. Yeah, I think I should stop here, because otherwise we will continue from MA, master's degree, that I went again. Initially, I wanted to leave ISTEC and continue my doctoral program elsewhere, whether in Germany or in the US. Then Prof. Wans told me, we need an example of a student who studied with us fully, full ISTEC graduate, who did his or her master's and PhD program at ISTEC. Because there were many students like Dr. Ugi Suharto. His MA was from UIA. And most of the students like that. Or many students who just finished his master's and then left, like Ibrahim Kalin, who now become the chief intelligence of Turkey, or Ibrahim Ahmad Ali Basij. So, he said, from you come back. I went just for 1 month, and I went back to the state and started my PhD program with Dr. Adi Setia, under the supervision of Professor Paulati. Alhamdulillah, just with, I think by the end of the first semester, I had the opportunity to study, to learn German at the IDFR, Institute for Diplomacy and Foreign Relations, which at the time had Jaya at near University Malaya for first entrance. And with that knowledge of German language, things happen, of course, by Allah's design. Professor Hans Daiber came as a visiting professor. By that time, I already did I passed my German language test called test DAF, Deutsch als Fremdsprache. The teacher was an Austrian lady married to a Chinese, Malaysian Chinese. That's why her name is Christina Tan Rausch. Rausch was her original family name. The Tan is the husband's family name. I did 5 levels of the German language course, and I took I did the test organized by Goethe Institute to Kuala Lumpur. Then this teacher told me, "Don't you want to go to visit Germany?" I said, "Of course, but I don't have money. You know, I'm just a student. I live on scholarship." I said, "I'll find a way for you." She said. She was very enthusiastic, and she said, "No way, I'm very enthusiastic." I was the only student. In level 1, there were 3 students. One, a diplomat, Malaysian diplomat, Cik Rusli, his name. He left after just 1 month because the course ran for 3 months. For each level, it took 3 months. So Cik Rusli left for Berlin after 1 month. And there remained only 2. Me, myself, and Dr. Adistia. Dr. Adistia, after Cik Rusli left, he came this week and he would disappear the following week. So on and off, on and off. And eventually, after a couple of weeks, he disappeared totally. he never returned. Like soldiers, never returned. So I survived, this German language course. No, it was not a survival because I really enjoyed it. But the teacher was very enthusiastic because she said, "I see fire in you." Like passion for learning. Alhamdulillah, I got that opportunity and I made use of the opportunity well. So when Professor Hansdaiger came, I knew, but I'm not the type of person who likes to apa kalau orang Indonesia like cari muka, like trying to get advantage, no, I'm not that type. So I was just quiet. I was just doing my routine as students until Professor Karim Kroll, who took interest in me as a student, he said, "You know that Professor Hans Daber is here?" I said, "Of course I do." Then he said, "No, you should see him. Go see him. It's a walking bibliography." Professor Karim Kroll is an American, although his mother is Lebanese, from Lebanon, but he talks like a cowboy. But his Arabic is very good, maybe because his mother is an Arab. So he always pronounced my name. I like Shamsuddin. And when my second child was born, a boy, then I told him his name. Then from that time on, he called me, "Ya Aba Abdus Salam." "Oh, father of Abdus Salam." So Professor Karim encouraged me to show my work to Professor Hans. I showed him my first chapter. I told Prof. I'm learning German no, really. And I showed him. The following day, I brought him my certificate. Wow, this is good. Then my German teacher, she said, there is an opportunity for you to get a scholarship to study in Germany. I said, how? She said, you go to Goethe Institute. You ask them. And I went to Goethe Institute near the U.S. Embassy. Then they told me, oh yes, but are you Malaysian? I said, no, I'm not. No, this is only for Malaysians. So doors closed. But they said, if you want to apply for scholarship, you go to DAD. It's called DAD office, but DAD office is located inside Goethe Institute. Our office in Jakarta. So I went to Jakarta. To cut the story short, they asked for recommendation, which I got from this German teacher and from Professor Hans Leber, who expressed his consent to become the host, because you must have a host professor. So that's how I ended up in Frankfurt. And I sat there for 4 years, 8 consecutive semesters. I always attended every semester Professor Hans Leber courses. So I learned how Orientalists teach, how Orientalists conduct their courses. And the rest is history. Okay, so I hope it's inspiring and useful, and I look forward to receiving maybe comments or questions.
Alhamdulillah, thank you, Prof. So you can, if you want to listen back to the some of the podcast, and also you tell the story in that podcast. But anyway, that's the Prof. Shams Arif. No joke, but sometimes it's very cynical as well. And I'm sure all the story regarding himself is not to glorify himself, but to inspire us and to take lesson. Of course, to compare our experience with him, sometimes not that, but at least to come as close as we can. And just to remind one of my memory with Dr. Sham, to relate with his emphasize on the language in our class on, I think it's Introduction to Quran and Hadith, where you ask the student one by one to read the Arabic with the correct harakat and immediately translate into English. Of course, most of us cannot do that, but yeah, maybe salah in the class, and to read correctly is one thing, to translate it immediately is another. You see, and then Dr. Sham said, you should send the most clever of your son to study Islamic sciences, not the less clever one. Of course, it's a joke, but we said that is very true, because the Islamic study is maybe the most serious one, maybe the most important one. So before I open to any further comment, maybe Dr. Shah, you want to ask anything, or you want to give any comment?
Maybe just to add, I think maybe, I don't know if our friends are familiar with Dr. Shamsuddin's history and scholarship. I think I want to add, because I think he's being really humble about himself, but I feel it's important for us to know, at least we can benefit from him in the future, at least on this occasion. I think if I'm not wrong, is among the few entrusted by the professors at the original ISTAC because of his excellence in Arabic. He also studied, as I said, Germany, but I think he also studied like Latin and Greek and so on, which is a rarity. I think even currently in this region, I think that's a kind of standard we should aspire to. On top of that, I think he has some gift in art as well. So I think Professor Alatas entrusted him to study art in Istanbul with Hojam Hasan Chalabi, Allah Yarhamhu, was a master Ottoman calligrapher as well. So I think that is another standard, I think, in terms of developing that taste of aesthetic art, which is part of our civilization. So I think when he speaks about multidisciplinary, he tries to live the tradition, I think, which is again another aspect we should try to aspire, like that multidisciplinary, that language mastery, as well as commitment to scholarship. So I think for me, I first knew him when I attended WISE. Before attending CASIS, I attended WISE, but before attending WISE, I've read about him. I think there was one interview article on him talking about Ibn Sina. So his reputation precedes him, so the moment you hear him speak, it's not like any ustad, someone who masters the subject. So again, he impresses you the moment you listen. So thank you so much, Dr. Shah. Allah reward you for your. Although you didn't get to go overseas, but after that you've traveled worldwide, around the world. We've seen on your Facebook, so that again inspired us. So thank you we hope to continue to learn from Dr. Shah, inshallah, in the years to come. So I give it to our colleagues.
Even his kuliah subuh on YouTube is not like any kuliah subuh. Any one of you silakan.
Amin Hussein.
I think maybe say something experience with the shop. I think at first day at CASIS, when I didn't know anything about Arabic.
Okay.
And then I entered the shop class and we speak totally in Arabic. So I was left with a blank.
It was good.
Yeah, well, it was good experience at that time.
So, made you feel like in Cairo or something? Doing Umrah.
Cairo.
Actually, I have one question to the Prof. I think you continue to be very active and prolific in the journal. I think one of the things that you taught us last time, how to engage in scholarship at the highest level, international level. Now that you've reached at this stage of your career, what kind of further advice or tips you would give to us in terms of the significance of trying to show ourselves that we can engage with arguments at that level of scholarship in journals? Because perhaps sometimes we aim what's the easiest to reach, in terms of journal, a low-hanging fruit journal. But I think you've done a lot that maybe can give us some advice.
Yeah. There is an advice by Imam Al-Ghazali, which is summarized in few lines that you can read in Kitab Nihayatul Zain by Sheikh Nawawi Banten. Nihayatul Zain. The first page of Nihayatul Zain, right? In the footnotes of the Muqaddimah. Nihayatul Zain is a commentary on Qurratul Ain. It's a book on Islamic law on Shafi'i madhab, written by Al-Malibari from Kerala. And the commentary is called Nihayatul Zain Syarhu Qurratul Ain fi Muhimmaddin. There, Shaykh Nawawi quotes the lines summarizing Imam Ghazali's advice. You write in order to, so there I think five, he enumerates five aims of writing. think we can use that advice. Now, the motivation for writing. Why should you write? For what purpose? I have to quote. Is it Anwar? No. Kitab Nihayatul Zain. Now, let's benefit from internet. Nihayatul Zain, Syaraf Kuala. Betul kitab. Please bear with me to quote exactly. Sehingga ada PDF. Nah ini. Itu bentuknya seperti syair. Kelihatan jadi ini dari ingatan saja ya. Tidak bisa saya couldn't find this one. First, you write in order to explain what is not clear. Yeah, explain means to make plain. Jadi menerangkan yang tidak jelas. Second, you write in order to solve a problem. The problem is a scientific problem. So this is what Professor Al-Faslan used to tell us, students who want to find a topic for a thesis or for a dissertation. So you find a problem. So if there is no problem, no need to write. Find a problem. And actually, even the first one, there must a need for an explanation. So you write something, just like Imam At-Tabari wrote his tafsir because he felt the need for an explanation. He felt that most people need an explanation of every single verse of the Holy Quran. even every single word of the Quran. So there was a need for an explanation, for a tafsir. So this was a good reason. And yeah, the first one and the second one, there is a problem to be solved. This true, in fact, not only in Islamic studies, but also in many other fields. You have unresolved issue, or yeah, the third one, maybe this is another way of putting it. You answer a question. It is like Al-Hakim At-Tirmidhi. He asked 100 or of 100 question or 70 question. I don't remember exactly. He said, "I hope somebody will be able to give answer to all this question of mine." And the questions waited for, and I don't know how many years, waited for so long until Ibn Arabi came up with his Futuhat Makkiyah and he addressed those questions. So you write in order to answer questions. And the fourth one, this is what this is to summarize. You find a lengthy word. This is called tahdhib or mukhtasar. Sometimes this is done even by the author himself. For example, Ibn Sina first wrote Kitab Shifa, which is a multi-volume work. Which even now it is very costly. Yes. Now in the past, papers were also very expensive. So he thought that it could be a good idea if he could summarize it. So he wrote Kitab Najat, which is a summary of Shifa, a very concise version of the book. And in the case of Ibn Rushd, he wrote three types of works on each subject. So there's a fourth motivation. So this is how you do service to scholarly community, to students. So you make a summary. I don't remember the rest, but and this is exactly what I myself try to do. I address a question, or I try to solve. Oh yeah, the fifth one. Jam'ul mutafarriq. Jam'ul mutafarriq. Oleh yang pertama itu halul mushkil. Halul mushkil could be explanation or solving a problem. This is jam'ul mutafarriq. You put together what is scattered. Putting together scattered information, scattered bits of information. This is very useful. For example, there are many articles published on hadith, or on the concept of maslahah. One in this journal and that journal. It would be easier to, if you have all those compiled. But that's a compilation of different articles on the same subject by different authors, by various scholars. Now, what if you can do that? You put together the it is like state of the art, like an update of knowledge in the field. That's what I tried in the book Debate and Argumentation in Islam. Just put together, because now so far this information, this knowledge is scattered. If you if you ask about the novelty, yes, the putting together and transforming those scattered bits of information into one piece of work, that's novel, because it's something new. Just like two persons give rise to a child. So it's a new creation. Jamul Mutakar. This is what you learn also from Professor Alatas. You know what? You can say, maybe you can add making known what is unknown, what is hitherto less known or unknown. Yeah, Prof. Alatas, for example, wrote a book on the oldest Malay manuscript, that's Ahoy Nasafi. That's making known. But above all, I think what's most important is your intention, niyyah. This niyyah can be always, I think, corrected or rectified. You can, maybe your initial intention was not purely for the sake of getting pleasure from Allah, then you can later modify it and rectify it. You ask forgiveness, you make a dua, so Allah will accept it and will make your work beneficial and inspiring. I always understand the Prophet saying, La yahdiyallahu bika rajulan khairun laka min humurin na'am. Usually people understand as giving hidayah. Giving hidayah to someone is more valuable, is much more valuable than having the best camel. The best camel is like Ferrari, the best car, the most expensive car. So the Prophet said, to inspire someone, to motivate or inspire someone to good things, to see that the truth is greater, is more important, is more valuable than having a nice big car or big house. I understand the hidayah broadly, as helping people to see the truth, to see what he has not, what he had not seen before, to make someone realize what he or she didn't realize before. So when they read your writing, your article or your book, then they get something new. They feel enlightened. They feel illuminated. even much better if your work can motivate them. This I think should be the motivation. Yahdiyallahu bika rajulan, so that Allah will guide people through you, through your writing.
Sure, thank you.
Anyone else? One or two more? To just make it short. Sarah first and after that.
Hello, from Dr. Shamsuddin. My name is Sarah, if you remember. So nice to see you after several years. Yeah. So I would like to ask your opinion from your different experience until now. I travel around the world. For our education system, be it school, high school, especially, what do you think that we can improve on? Because you said just now, the multidisciplinary approach, right? So, because now we have as a reaction to the mainstream education, we now have a blooming of private educational institution that tries to filling in the gaps that we have in whether the government school or in the Islamic school. And within the Islamic school also, they have their own approach, which some focusing on, some trying to integrate, they somehow are trying to put STEM Islamic school like that. And we have also a school that want to apply more Finland Swedish approach towards education, which looking more detail into the individual strength of a child rather than just a blanket curriculum, and more towards more EQ. So and also we have what Prawatas Profan wrote on education in Islam. So and then we have in Malaysia, in this year we have so many cases, not so many cases, but a few cases, a new case that shocked the country, like the killing of a student by a student. It's like in US, but it happened in Malaysia just recently, last month I think. So yeah, I just would like to know your opinion.
Generally, my response to your question is, no school is perfect. There is no perfect school. So in every school, I'm sure there is a strength and weakness. But as Ralph Waldo Emerson, the founding father, one of the founding fathers of the United States of America, United States of America. You want to speak like a cowboy? Put the cigarette here. Ram. Not Islam is. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, for everything you get, there will be something you lose. So as parents, you just decide which things you want to miss and which things you wish your children should get. If you send your children to Pondok, they will get this, they will learn this, but they may not have good math teachers, for example, or science teachers, because that's not what Pondok people emphasize. But of course, your children may and should not spend their whole life in Pondok. So there's always an opportunity for them to catch up. Right? They want to be a scientist, for example. So I think the reverse also can be that person. For example, you can say some people attend Pondok maybe after high school. Yes, if you believe in in Pondok system of education. Well, there are also many kinds of Pondok, yes, like in Indonesia, modern pesantren like Gondo, which I attended, where you learn not only traditional Islamic subjects, including Arabic, but you learn that students are free to learn anything they like, sports, arts. But I know in some Pondok they don't allow music. So yeah, this is your choice as parents. If you want your children to be broad-minded, to be versatile, or you want them to just become narrow specialists. But you see, they have maybe 20 to 30 years of time to study, to explore. So, and this prophet used to say, people can change. So our children also can change. So that's why I answered it.
No, regarding the process that you mentioned in the lecture, right? I found it is beneficial for us. Like if we can use or we need to use this in the thesis that we are writing, like the normative and the factual or historical approach. For example, if you want to explain about.
Yeah, that's what I forgot to do. Just this one historical approach. That's why in Europe, especially in Germany, students learn or are taught philosophy through history of philosophy. So before they philosophize, they have to learn what previous philosophers said or thought. So that's why the history of philosophy is important. The history of philosophy is in fact studying philosophy, studying philosophers of the past. Before you, so that you have a model, or you have models before for you to philosophize yourself. Now, if students go straight to philosophy and start philosophizing. So the history of philosophy. Yeah.
Okay. Then thinking, when you give the example of Sharia, something that we can look into the historical data. But if, for example, you want to write about tasawwuf, then we know the tasawwuf in the normative approach, the definition is the practice of Sharia in the Mahkamah Baisan. Then, if you want to apply the factual, it's something that is something abstract, like for us to write about the factual historical approach,
something like that abstract lah, tasawuf or happiness. It's not something that we can really see in the data, right?
No,
Okay.
that's right. If you read books by Ibn Atta'illah Hikam, then you find only theories, concepts and theories. And Risalah Kushairiyah, so I think it's also concepts and theories of tasawwuf. But if you read Ihya, Imam Ghazali always gives, I believe, true stories. So he would explain first tawakal. What is tawakal? Tawakal is blah 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 blah. Then came the stories. There used to be a man living in Baghdad. His name was this, and he had neighbors. Real example. But then, of course, these examples were limited to medieval examples. But now you should add maybe examples from Kelantan. That's how you add the historical flavor. So that learning tasawwuf is not theoretical, it's not abstract.
Okay. Someone asked me to ask this question to you. If boleh masuk sikit lah. Dia kata bahasa Melayu lah, dia tulis dari Dr. Roslan, peratas kena cakap untuk keperluan dasar mengenal Ibn Arabi, membaca Fusus Hikam cukup. Ni, apa karya Ibn Sina yang perlu dikenali secara mendasar sebagai pembuka yang dapat menjadi pengantar pada Ibn Sina?
Dua, Najat dan Syarat.
In one sentence.
But Dr. Shah mentioned, I think in one of the podcasts, if you want to master on that, for example, that figure, everything right by him and everything right about him.
Yeah. Then you want to be Ibn Sina scholar.
Okay.
You have to read everything written by and on Ibn Sina. Everything written by Ibn Sina and everything written on Ibn Sina. In any language, anytime, anywhere.
Prof, what do you think the Orientalists now is focusing on? The discipline, yes.
Because they just different fields. Orientalists working on Islamic philosophy, Islamic law, some different. Now Orientalists focusing on hadith, Quran, Sufism. So there are many areas of concentration. So if you ask, for example, who are doing what in Sufism among Western scholars?
Sorry, wrong question.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, I think that's the end of our session today. I think we are very grateful and thankful to Dr. Shah. We need to spend some of his time here with us. And it's a very rare opportunity that we have, and hopefully we're going to have some more time after this. So I think that's all from me. And if you want to follow, I think
Someone to take a picture from there.
Or outside. Is it better?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Just